I heated up yesterday coffee ground because I didn't feel like making fresh coffee, and so you can tell like yesterday how coffee ground because I didn't feel like how desperate are people to get their coffee. You can tell, or like do they have like a low foam boat and or like macchiato with two pumps of hazelnut, sugar free, creamer, that says a lot about a person too. Hazelnut, or do they have sugar free?
It,
They have heart palpitations by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like some people I know.
it,
Heart
what I
palpitations
mean,
by like one
what
o'clock
you
in the
just
afternoon.
described,
Like
what
some people
that
I know.
tells me is that they got their shit straight. I mean, what you just described, what that tells me is that they got their shit straight. I mean, what you just described, what
What I
that
should
tells me
ask
is
is
that
like,
they
what
got
kind
their
of like
shit straight. I mean,
donut or
what
pastry are
you
you
just
eating with your coffee?
described, what
What I
that
should
tells
ask
me
is
is that
like,
they
are
got
you going
their
like
shit
old
straight.
fashioned, fritter, French cruller, like maple bar, bear claw? That's old fashioned, fritter, French cruller, like maple bar,
Bear
like
claw. What's a
old
bear claw
fashioned.
donut?
You don't know what a bear claw donut is?
A
It's
bear claw. What's a
I
bear
don't
claw
think
it's
so.
donut?
giant.
I'm
You don't know
about
what
to
a
Google it.
bear claw donut is? Giant. It's
Bear claw. What's a
I
bear
don't
claw
think so.
donut?
massive donut
I'm about to
material.
Google
But
it.
then before they cook it, they cut like four
I
little
don't
lines
think
in it,
so.
and then they deep
I'm
fry
about
it,
to
and then it
Google it.
comes out looking like a bear claw. They cut like four little lines in it. I've never put more
And then it comes out
scientific research into it, but I think that's what it is. Jim would know. I've
I'm,
never put more.
I'm
Jim would know. He's
But I think that's what it
our
is. Jim would know.
nutritional expert here on Decentraland.
Jim would know. He's
Um, nutritional expert
okay, I
here on
just looked it up.
Decentraland.
I think the reason why I don't know them is because they have nuts on them. I haven't been able to eat nuts for a
I
while
think the
now.
reason why I
Oh
don't know
no.
them
You
is
know what?
because
It
they
might
have
be a
nuts
regional
on them.
thing.
I
Like I
haven't been
am from
able
the
to eat
upper
nuts
north,
for a while
upper
now.
Midwest, and like donuts are like if I'm from the upper north, like legit, it's totally okay to like start your day and fuel your body with like donuts and sugar and white like super refined flour and like just throw some corn syrup on there and it's all good. So it might just be like a regional thing. Corn syrup on there and it's all good. So it might just be like a
Almost
regional
starting to
thing.
sound Canadian.
Eh, yeah, yes.
Almost starting
The
to sound
Canadians
Canadian.
But
donuts. They got Tim Hortons. Don't get me started on Tim Hortons. I have
Almost
cried.
starting
The
to sound
Canadians
Canadian.
but
donuts. They got Tim Hortons. Don't get me started on Tim Hortons. I have cried.
do you
The
like take
Canadians
trips up
donuts.
north
No,
for some?
no, not anymore. But I
Do you
worked
like
in
take trips
Alaska
up
for
north
many
for
summers
some?
as like a seasonal
Do you
bum
like take
in
trips up north
Skagway, and the
for
closest
some?
store was 3 hours away in the Yukon, in the White Horse Yukon, and so like we had a running. It was like an unwritten rule. Like if you go to like the Yukon, you come back with Timbits because what Canada does is they take the middle of the donut hole and they make them in 20 different flavors. So imagine like donut holes in 20 different flavors, and they're called Timbits. You just bring this box, you just have this carry box full of Timbits. And so like my staff, they knew like if you come back without Timbits, there's going to be consequences. And so I literally had like, I was joking, but I do take my donuts seriously. But I once had these new, like young, just fresh out of high school staff members, like literally come to my door, knock on it, and like present to me donut holes from Canada. And I was like, oh my god, like literally come. They really thought I was pissed if they didn't bring Timbits back from Canada. And then years later, my mom went to Canada and she brought Timbits back, and it was like so emotional. I started crying because then years later, my mom went to Canada and she brought. So that's kind of why I always make those like jokes. It's just I don't know. I love my donuts. So that's kind
Your
of why I
beast
always
is
make those
holding a
like jokes.
donut.
It's just, dude, that was the deal breaker. Like I've been looking at beasts for a while and
Your beast is
Clonexes, but
holding a
like I
donut.
can't afford that, and so I should just like not look at stuff I can't afford.
Your
And I'd
beast
been
is
eyeing up
holding a
some
donut.
beasts, and there was some like with a pink hat because I wanted pink hair. And then I saw this one, and I'd been looking at it for a while. But then the other night when I clicked on the full image, and it's got a donut in its hand, I'm like, no, like, this is meant to be. This is like literally made for me. The only way it could be better is if my beast had pink hair. And Fancy's got a new avatar too. Did you see that? The only way it could be better. My killer girl.
I did.
So pretty, Fancy. And Fancy's got a new avatar too. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the post that they have been waiting for like a while for them to be able to pick one up. It's kind of cool to see kind of like get to like a point where like prices are like getting lower and everything. Everything's affordable again, so you can like get into your favorite PFP projects. Before, if there's a run, another bull run with NFTs, who knows? Like, I feel like next bull runs will be different. Another bull run
Yeah,
with
for
NFTs.
sure. But I mean, I
Who
think
knows?
like there's so much
I feel
more
like
being
next
built
bull
around the
runs will be
NFTs than there was
different.
last time, like in 2021. Like it was in a lot of ways it was just a PFP, but now you've got like Bored Apes. The other side is like this whole engine behind the PFP driving it, and then all of this stuff. Like I mean, the beast that you can take the VRM, you can animate it. I mean, I don't think most NFT projects that are like PFPs, I don't think they were doing that in 2021. So instead of just being like this cool little, icon that you can put in your, your profile for the cloud, now there's like, well, you can actually be your avatar and take it in worlds. So I think that those are like the things that are going to drive like certain projects further. So I think that some projects, well, we know some projects are going to be good, some are going to rug. Like certain projects further. His life in Web3. Some projects, well, we know some projects are going to be
His life. Okay, finally, I made it. I made it upstairs. I was lost in the sauce down there with Zesty for a little bit, and then I don't know. I just got a little like burst of courage, and I found my way through the maze. Now I left Zesty all alone down there. I just got a little like burst of courage, and
I
I
like
found my
watching
way through the
Zesty
maze.
struggle
Now
in his
I left
gorgeous
Zesty all
mythic
alone down
knight
there.
outfit, but now he's flying. Darn it, everybody. Just so everybody knows, like I could never do this kind of stuff. Like I get lost in the maze, and I'm the one that made it. Like I know the way through, and I'm like, damn it! Like take a wrong turn, and I don't know where. So you just like anybody that's here early, the alpha. If you don't want to do the maze, just walk around to the back of the entire thing. You just come right up. There's no reason to like have to do something difficult like a maze. I you know me, I always put like into come right up. There's no reason to like do difficult things because otherwise like if I fall, you guys are gonna watch me struggle. You know me, I don't think I can make it. Or I'll just teleport out and teleport back. Because I ain't gonna put myself through that mental anguish of doing a maze that I made.
Yeah, yeah. I remember there's been like mornings where like I'm like just waking up for the space. I'm like all groggy and stuff, and then I'm like, oh my god, there's a maze. I'm like just waking up for the space. I'm like all groggy and stuff, and then I'm like, oh my
But
god,
just yeah, I
there's a
think everybody
maze.
knows there's always
like just waking
that
up
I
for
always
the
put a
space.
sheet.
I'm like
And,
all groggy and stuff.
sometimes the
and,
colliders
like,
don't
oh
work,
my
but
god,
then like
there's a maze.
stuff. But I remember that first build I made. Because when you're talking here, like I don't know, maybe some people can multitask, but I have a hard time talking here and talking in Decentraland and then doing some kind of maze. It's like an advanced cerebral comprehension, like Mensa, doing some kind of maze. The place for geniuses, they could do this, but I'm like, no, I can do like one thing at a time. It's not two, so the place for geniuses, they could do this, but I'm like, no, I can. But yes, one thing at a time. Thank you for everybody for coming, for playing the maze, for joining us on this Wednesday. One thing at a time. Thank you for everybody for coming.
Yeah, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I
Wednesday.
see you down there nowhere. What's up, Greensifer? Yeah, good Fancy, morning. You know we love you. Good afternoon, we're I see you down there. We're currently lining up to ask Jim Cedric, the donut expert, some questions here on Decentraland. So if you are around and would like to ask Jim your hardest donut question, we're at coordinates minus negative 88, comma negative 84. And yeah, come ask Jim your hardest donut question.
Do you remember that time last year when when we both got the request to speak with Jim Cedric?
Your hardest donut question.
Do you remember that
And we're
time
all
last
like
year when
fanboy and
got the request
fangirling,
to
and
speak
we're
with
like,
Jim
oh my
Cedric?
God, Jim wants to talk to us. And then you just see it go away, and both of our hearts are like crushed.
Yes.
And
He's
we're
like,
like, oh my
that
God,
was a
Jim wants to
mistake. I don't want
talk
to
to
talk
us.
to
And
you
then you just
guys.
see it go away, and both of our
I
hearts
wouldn't want to
are
talk
like
to me
crushed.
either.
Yes. He's like, that was a
Oh, we
mistake. I don't
love
want to
Jim.
talk.
What
What would
would
it
it
be
be
like
like
without
without
Jim?
Jim?
Oh, did you see? Oh my
I
gosh, did you
wouldn't
see
want to
that thing
talk
that
to
Jim
me
posted
either.
to Instagram? I don't know if Jim and we'll just wait until you come up and talk about it. But I don't know if he
I wouldn't
posted it
want
to
to talk
Twitter,
to
but
me
on
either.
Instagram. Oh my gosh, Jim has this. It's like Studio Ghibli. He's like in the
I
movie,
wouldn't want to
and it's
talk to
him.
me
It's
either.
him. And yeah, so I just fangirl. I'm like, how did you do this? And then come to find out, I think what is it? It's on Zepeto, because then Kronos posted one. But holy smokes, like he's in a Studio Ghibli movie. It's on Zepeto. So amazing. Kronos posted one. But holy smokes, like he's in
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
Studio Ghibli
There's a
movie.
pedos. I
So
always like seeing the pictures that everyone like takes. Oh yeah, yeah. There's a
taken
pedos.
post
I
on
always
Zepeto.
like
It's pretty
seeing the
cool.
pictures that everyone like
Yeah, we need
takes.
that in
Oh yeah,
Decentraland where you
yeah.
could kind of,
There's
I
a
mean, not to
pedos.
copy because
Post
they
on
got their own
Zepeto.
thing
It's pretty
going
cool.
on and it's awesome. But it would be cool if we could do something similar
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
some way. I don't know. I haven't played
Taken
around with Zepeto, but
post
they
on
got their own
Zepeto.
ins
It's
and
pretty
outs of it
cool.
and it's awesome. But it would be cool if we could do
I
something
mean, I
similar
guess
in
that the
some way. I don't know.
DCL
I haven't
camera
played around
would
with
be
Zepeto, but
like
they
the
got their own
step
ins and outs of it.
forward for that. Like
I mean,
considering
I
like
guess
you can do all
that
your
the
emotes
DCL
and you can
camera
like
would be
try
like
to
the
angle
step
yourself
forward for that.
properly. Like
I mean,
considering
I
like
guess
Yeah,
you
I
can do all
just
your
started playing
emotes
around
and you
with
can
it
like
last night.
try to angle
I
yourself
saw Ricci girl playing
properly.
around
Like considering like
whenever.
you can
So
do
I
all
went
your
there and I'm like,
emotes
Ricci,
and you
this is
can
the
like
first picture
try to
in my
angle
like
yourself
photo album, and there'll be
properly.
thousands someday. And the very first one is like us
Mhm.
so cool. Photo
There
album,
will
and there'll be
be
thousands
thousands
someday. And the
one
very
day.
first one is like us. Oh yeah,
one
so
one
cool.
day they're gonna start charging Canessa for
there
like
will be
storage
thousands
space
one
on
day.
like the
Oh yeah.
Decentraland for like pictures,
One
and
day they're
As
gonna
long
start
as they don't do
charging
it for the
Canessa
backpack,
for
like
like
I'm okay.
storage
Though if they
space
start
on
storing for what you
like
have
the
in the backpack,
Decentraland for like
I'm gonna have to
pictures,
go back
and
to
Someday they're
clubbing
gonna
again.
start charging Canessa for
like
like
storage
$50.
space on
No, actually, it looks like
like the
500 is the limit
Decentraland for like
of the amount
pictures,
of.
and
It says storage,
start charging
3 out of 500
storage
photos taken.
space on
No, actually, it looks like
like the
500 is the
Decentraland
limit.
for like
But this is cool
pictures.
because I think a lot of people like they have to. If you take a lot of pictures, you have to store that on your computer. So this is cool that it's storing it in the whatever in the Decentraland cloud. It must be the clouds above Genesis Plaza or something. So this is cool that it's storing it in the whatever
Those
in the
mysterious
Decentraland cloud. It
clouds,
must be the clouds above Genesis Plaza or
so full of
something.
mystery. I now one thing I wish you could kind of
Those
do
mysterious
is kind of
clouds.
like
So full of
rotate
mystery.
camera
I
in a way. I don't
now
know if you
one thing
know
I
what I'm
wish you
saying.
could
Like
kind of
rotate the
do
whole
is kind
thing.
of like
The
so full of
Yeah,
rotate
mystery.
for sure. And
camera
zoom
in
it,
a
like
way. I
treat
don't
it
know
like a
if you
normal
know
camera
what
where you
I'm
could move
saying.
it, but
Like
then also
rotate the
zoom
whole
in
thing.
because
The
like
rotate
avatars'
camera
faces are the
in a way.
hardest
I
to. I
don't
mean,
know
I
if
think
you
everybody
know
knows you
what I'm
just walk up to
saying.
a
Like
tree
rotate the
and then
whole
you turn
thing.
around. But for new users that don't know that, it's hard to get like good close-up pictures, and so to be able to zoom in and out. But I'm sure they're like, I'm sure they're working on that. They're gonna get it done at some point. Close-up pictures, and so to
So,
be able to zoom in and out. But I'm
Team
sure they're like,
Decentraland, hoorah, wag me.
get it done at some point. They had some good alpha today
So,
in the
Team
AMA. It was
Decentraland,
interesting. A couple
hoorah,
things that
wag me.
they brought up that we can talk about in a little bit whenever we
So,
want to
Team
here now.
Decentraland, hoorah, wag me. Please, please. Yes, I missed it because I was out getting my donuts and coffee.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you have priorities.
Please, please.
You
Yes, I missed it
prioritize
because I
donuts
was out
over
getting my donuts and coffee.
alpha in Decentraland. That's
Donuts over Alpha.
Please, yes, I
Oh
missed it
God,
because I was
that's
out
gonna be
getting
my
my
next
donuts and
Oh
tweet.
my
coffee.
gosh, yes. Well, that just it's good.
That's over
We're all,
alpha.
we're all just getting to know each other.
That's gonna
I'd like
be
to
my
know that,
next
like,
tweet.
the people I associate with have like
That's over
donuts
alpha.
in their priority
Oh,
list.
God.
But
That's
I
gonna
did
be my
write a
next
couple things
tweet.
down since I did not go get donuts. I should. But yeah, it was interesting. So I guess these AMAs, they're going to be doing them. I think on a regular basis. It's to improve transparency between the foundation and the users. I don't know why that makes me chuckle. Regular basis. But it does. That's awesome. We need improve transparency between the foundation and the users. I don't know why that makes me chuckle. Regular basis. I think the biggest thing, like I don't know if you guys noticed, but well, not the biggest thing, but like worlds. Now worlds are supported on the events page, and somebody was like, like Zom, like, I thought we voted this down, but it's there. So what it is if you own land in Genesis Plaza, like, on the map, the 90,000 parcels, and you want to have an event in your world, you can make an event page for your world, and it'll show up on the event page. But if you don't own any land, any proper land in, I call it DCL proper. I don't know, like just like Genesis Plaza or like Genesis. That just confuses me. I think, like, if you consider the whole world Genesis with Genesis Plaza, like those things just, I don't know. I'd rather call it like something else. But the main DCL, if you have land there, you can have an event listing, which is cool. Yeah. I think I've kind of lightened my my stance. I was pretty against having like event listings for worlds, just because like the worlds, the way that it was introduced. I mean, I bought my land 4 years ago when I thought there would only ever be 90,000 parcels, and that was like a huge draw, is that it was scarcity. Like, you can't make more. There's not going to be more parts to the map added. So when I first heard of worlds, I was like adamantly, like, it was like knee jerk, like no. This is not what I bought into 4 years ago. But having seen like the advantages and like the reality about worlds, that it is not necessarily competing with landowners. Like, it is a different beast. It's like I don't know, it's like if you have a Ferrari and you want to go hot rodding, but this person over here is a soccer mom and she's got to take 5 kids to a soccer game. Like, they're both vehicles, but they have a different purpose. And so I think like seeing worlds kind of save the day for a lot of people at Fashion Week, like where the main Genesis, like main Decentraland was glitching out. So people had to convert their scenes to worlds, and then it worked. Like, okay, that changed my mind. That eased my heart a little bit. And then really kind of seeing like what worlds can do as far as like individual creativity. I have softened. I like worlds a lot more than I used to.
Okay, I mean, I guess your investments weren't all that bad either, because at the time you had also been accumulating names.
Yeah, I mean, the names, I think that's like, to get really creative. I mean, there are a lot of names out there that have not been, that have value, and really, like, to me, I think like all these other metaverses are kind of changing the way that I viewed the metaverse, because Decentraland was the first one that I had, other than Webkins. Decentraland's my first metaverse. And so now I'm seeing like Hyperfi, where you have these individual experiences and they're not tied to like a map, which the map is like awesome to be able to walk through different properties and just explore and find stuff. But Hyperfi really shows like, okay, this is, you are going to have these little spots. And to me, it's like, you can own a big estate out in the country, like a world, that might not get as many people coming to it, but you can build forever and it's huge. Or you can buy like land in the city and you can't put as much on it, but you're close to neighbors and close to other people. So I don't know. As most things in life, it's not just cut and dry. It's not just like one black and white. There is a lot of gray. And I think to move forward, we do kind of need worlds. And Greensifer, welcome. How are you? It's been a while.
Yo, Vanessa, what's up, Sinful? What's up, everybody? Yeah,
Good morning.
It's been a while, yo. I'm at work right now too. That's why I snuck in quick times. That's why I gotta leave soon too. But I came on here. I seen you guys. You're hosting space as usual, and what caught my attention was I seen your profile picture changed. You got a kid called Beast, or like I think you just changed it recently. It kind of caught my attention just because I started noticing everything like 3D assets wise in NFTs is going like super cheap right now. And I was wondering, I'm just like, at what point do people in Decentraland, like the 3D creators of like actual metaverse, right? At what point does it become to like a price point where it becomes attractive for them to start using it in places like Hyperfi or Decentraland, even, right? And we start seeing like actual like crazy premium content be deployed in metaverses, making them like far more attractive than they already are. Like obviously we have like devs doing like crazy things like the camera too, right? That was so new, it was so awesome. But I don't know, it was just cool. I was so happy to see, you guys getting into like 3D assets and like, NFTs and stuff like that. It's sick, man.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I've been looking for a while, that floor price. I mean, I've got a Women in Weapons PFP that I got. That was like a huge investment for me at the time. Now oh my God, that one's lost like 98% of its value. And then I was looking at like I said, like Clone X's are cool. There's some with pink hair that are like so low, and so I send them to other people with Clone X's. I'm like, I can't buy it, so I'm just going to share it with you, and that'll like fulfill my little burning like want to buy it. But I think it's like the utility behind it. Like just hearing like Make NFT talk on Beyond the NFT the other night, like how much is going on with a kid called Beast. And like I've got a 3D printer. I would love, like I've wanted to 3D print my Vipes. I want to 3D print Canessa, but after many many years of 3D printing, like both of those designs are super challenging. Like your failure rate is going to be super high on like a humanoid avatar. Like when you're printing, you have to accommodate for like undercuts, and you can build supports, but it's just like, oh, this is probably going to drive me nuts by the time I get it fully printed. And so I guess maybe that was a huge part of this one, is just the stockiness of the character is like, okay, I can totally print that. That's no problem. Yeah. And I just, I think right now is like when people are going to accumulate into these other little PFP projects, or little, they're not little, they're big, but they finally can purchase it. And I really believe that next bull run, it's going to be like, I think like, I'm not a prognosticator, like can't judge the future, but my guess is that there will just be these core projects that will be around forever. Like they aren't going to go anywhere. And it's not because they're superior in their form, it's because they have a community. Like, and so when I started hearing Make NFT talk about the community, it was like, all right, that I can get around. Like the people I can totally buy into, because look at what like, people in Decentraland. I mean, that's what makes it what it is. So I don't know, I guess I just like I haven't really had many PFPs, and I kind of wanted to have one that like, and this is like a dog and it's so cute and it's got a donut. So I couldn't pass up.
It's perfect. It was definitely meant to be when you went to buy it. uh, and I mean, I do also kind of share the same sentiment behind that. Like what does drive someone to like a project? I guess at this point, this far into our metaverse life, developing metaverse culture, like some things I look at, like you said, would be like community. There definitely has been a few beasts that I have like connected with that are like pretty cool people. Starting like with like the Love Squad, Love Louie and his crew. They most of them are kid called beasts, and they're always around, always trying to support people and they kind of what would it be like, they kind of like take care of their own in a way, They show up to each other's stuff. They support each other. So, I mean, what a better project for me to try to get into. And
That's awesome.
and
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was letting Christopher back
I
up.
managed to sneak in again. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think especially like right now in times like where everything is capitulating and everybody like no, I don't think there's like one project out there that is like questioning their thesis, like the holders. Like everybody's conviction is getting tested, right? So like the real prices will come soon. Like I'm not worried about that personally. But like seeing the community, like the people who are actual diamonds, that are surviving under all this pressure, whether it's coming from like just the community fighting or whether it's just prices or it's just sentiment, right? Like people that are here to stay, they're definitely they're reaching out, man. And like you're saying, right, the beasts are everywhere, right? It's true, you know. Like it's not even the fact that they have collaborations with other projects, right? Because even Ali from like the Clonex community, he posted like a video of like it's just like a community collab, right? And we're gonna see a lot more things like these, especially considering that we have like these 3D models for us to use, right, as holders, right? So as we collaborate with each other as like, people, right? It's like the projects don't need to officially collaborate with each other for like them to actually be like interoperable, interconnected, and all that good stuff, right? Because it's just a communities like that are actually like, just kind of like holding everybody together like glue. I don't know. I might be talking like crazy.
No, totally. I mean, like, look at linked wearables. I mean, at first when those came out, it was a very, very official, like top down. Like the project would reach out to Decentraland, and they would work to get this to happen. But now I see like Fancy and I are talking about like, okay, how can we get this project to be a linked wearable? It's like the individuals now are the ones that are kind of like keeping that dialogue open and like trying to figure out, okay, how could we do this? So yeah, totally. Like, and I think that's like, maybe you could call that decentralization of PFP projects. Like that's huge. That's what we're like going for, is like absolute decentralization, where it's not a founder, it's not the team like, yeah, we want to do a linked wearable. It's like the users are like, I need to be my killer girlfriend in Decentraland. Something like that.
Yeah, like I'm totally with you. Just because it's sustainable like that too, right? Because we're human. We have finite lifespans, right? For a project to actually like be viable, even after the founders have passed on to a different realm, like the blockchain will continue, right? So like there has to be a way, fundamentally for the project to like kind of work on its own, like autonomously, right? um, and like that's why it's so exciting to just like see organic stuff like just take place, because it kind of like affirms like my belief is like blockchain is for the good, like obviously like people are skeptics and like this stuff, but I don't know, I feel like I like it. I like it, man. I can't put in no words right now, but I like it. It's good, especially because we have a very tight community in the Central Line too, right? And as we all continue to grow, right? The remaining 38, whatever, right? Um, the interoperability starts with us, right? Or we're just an extension of it, right? Because I don't know about everybody else that's not into Central End and all that, but I can vouch for the people in the Central End. Like we're diehard fans, right? We're never leaving ever, right? So everybody around here, we're just we'll just keep growing, right? And these communities that we like take part of and leverage, um, they'll grow with us too, right? Like, Kenneth, how many friends have you made just because ever since you joined the Beast family?
I don't know, a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of people that are like offering to help because I couldn't get into the Discord. I think it was just my PC. Like I got in on my mobile, but I'm like impressed. Like, I don't know if it's just the project or if that's what happens when you get into a PFP project, but you get like really cool welcome, and like that says so much to me about like the community. And I wouldn't I wouldn't have got it, I think, either. Like Sinful had one, and so he was telling me about the stuff that was going on in there, and so I think it really speaks to the power like of like how Decentraland is like our home, but when we start seeing each other for better or worse, like buying into a specific project, like there have been some before that I don't know, maybe they're not around now, and I'm like, okay, I don't know, did they just like rug, maybe they are, but like you see one friend get something and then you're like, yeah, I want to get that. Like maybe it was Dr. Drip getting the clone that made me start shopping for clones. Like we inspire each other. So I think when PFP projects realize that like we have these sub communities that like we like everybody in this room, we're not connected by our PFP. Like everybody's got something different. We're connected by, our home metaverse, or at least this one that we frequent a lot. And so I think when projects tap into that, when they realize like, hey, you could get one or two people in your project, and then it can spread like wildfire, that there's so much power there that's not really being tapped into. Because then you can make wearables, you can make linked wearables, you could make an emote that's like the beast emote or something like that, and totally brings like a whole new level of interoperability to these PFPs. And I know a lot of them want to go like make their own metaverses, but I mean, look at what we've had to overcome to be at the point where we are today in Decentraland. And so if you have to go reinvent a new metaverse every time you come up with a PFP project, like you better have a really good team and a lot of money to like drive it forward, because that shit is expensive and time consuming. Why not just come and join us? We have donuts.
Well, I don't even see it like that. Like, it's like, why not just, you can build your own metaverse, you could do what you like, but also like have a footprint on the Decentraland, because I feel like that's what the Decentraland will kind of be, like a medium between other spaces as well. Like other spaces will come to promote on the Decentraland.
Yeah, like I see like that too. Like the little while I've been here, I can definitely tell that people definitely are going to come here. There's the amount of tilt and the amount of struggle everybody has put in here. It is insane, and for anybody else to even try to attempt to like do it again, that's some serious courage. So most likely they're gonna be like, nah, fam, you guys already did us the solid favor of actually building the groundwork, and they're gonna just leverage off that, like maybe add like more of their own tools. But that's sick, man. Yeah, like Decentraland will never fade. Like even though right now Decentraland's under 30 cents, right? I'm so excited, bro. I'm so excited because I can finally get mana, bro, and like actually like with like my heart, and be like, yeah, I'll never have to sell it. It's gonna be so much fun. But yo, Knessa, you have a clone?
No, I shop for clones. I have screenshots of the clones that I wish I could buy. Does
See
that count?
window shop.
They're like at one
Yeah,
each right now.
I know they're I'm gonna put air quotes. They're so cheap compared to what they were, but
They're pretty expensive, to be honest. Like
yeah,
an
yeah.
ETH is pretty expensive.
Yep.
Not gonna lie.
So I look at them. I look at the pretty haired ones, and then I just keep going. But no,
No,
someday maybe.
like I agree. Like I've been looking at clones for like a year, like, and I still don't have one, you know, just because, like, yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, right? Especially if you actually want to leverage it like a tool and not like a flex thing, right? Then yeah, definitely, yeah, kind of have to like look at it from like different type of view, I suppose. So let me ask you this: at what price does a 3D, like a premium 3D NFT asset become like worth it? Like, what is that price point? Because it's clearly not one ETH, right? But I wonder what it is.
That's a good question. I mean, I kind of FOMOed into this beast and didn't really. I don't know. Like, it's probably a toxic trait I need to work on. I don't know. I mean, I think it's also meaningful. If it means something to you, then you're going to put your own price on that. Like, if it has extra utility, you know, I think that comes with its own price tag. I think like what I was hearing about a kid called Beast is that like what make an NFT said is that he learned more about like Blender and kind of 3D modeling from their forum than anywhere else. And I was like, okay, like, so you're telling me that buying this, you know, PFP and joining that group gets me knowledge, gets me education, which in Web3 and, you know, this world, like it is, that's hard. It's hard to get that in ways that, like, if you want to go take your Vipe and animate it, you can't Google that shit and go find a college course to go specifically take your VRM. Like, I mean, you could learn how to animate, you could learn how to move stuff around in Blender, but the Vipe specifically is so unique. I guess like it's not mainstream enough. You need to find people like Brandon Manis who knows how to do it, who could help you. Like we're moving so fast and like there's so many moving parts that that information, that knowledge from your peers is really like that you can't put a price on, I think. Yeah, if I was going to go try to learn like call it like a Blender animation class, I mean, get your pocketbook out, that's thousands of dollars. So why not like find groups of people like FAFO, like with Scott and the CBD that can help you move faster and smarter and animate that stuff. Because I have a bunch of Vipes too, and that's what I wanted to like animate those, and I will. And there's so much. There's only 24 hours in the day, sadly.
Yeah, there's so much work to do and like so little time. I feel you on that. I feel you on that so much. And you know, it like I was actually talking. I was talking to like on a clone space. I was talking to these guys about it too. I'm just like a lot of you guys. You know, you're like you guys have help from the top, and still, you know, you guys are kind of like, you know, on the fence about like getting into Blender and like actually like, you know, getting to like play with it yourself. You know, it's but you know, it's I feel like we're headed in such a great direction because like the more we kind of like go in deeper and deeper into like this bear market, like whatever it is, right? I feel like the more like creators it's going to like give birth to, you know, because like all these people have these premium 3D assets and all that, like even Beast, like Mechaverse, you know, like Genesis is down bad right now, so you know I don't want to show, you know, but still, you know, like people will end up like being kind of like forced, like, you know, to be incentivized to actually learn like these softwares that they thought like were like beyond their reach just because they already have the asset, and it's going to go to waste if like it's either learn it or wait for the price to go up and do nothing or just capitulate, right? So in my opinion, I feel like it's weird and it sounds like tilt, but like it's funny how everything kind of like falls into place, you know, and like, you know, we'll have like so many new creators come in. I'm so excited. Like you shouldn't be this excited in a bear market, I swear, especially when you're going down ETH at like 1600. But it's vibes. It's so much vibes.
Oh my gosh, you're so right about that. Why? That's the best. You know, you just brought a great point that we're like stoked and ETH is dropping and Mana's at 29 cents. It's like, who cares? Like, I don't look at the price of Mana. It's the only way I know that is because I get like a notification that pops up on my phone because I'm not here for the price of Mana. But like, that's a great point, is that this is when the cool shit gets built. And if we think Web3 and like blockchain tech is going to go anywhere, you know, anybody that's in this room is positioned in a really good spot to be. I mean, when hordes of people come in someday, knock on wood, that there's some catalyst event that, you know, or a bull run or whatever it is that brings hordes of people in. I mean, we're all here. Like, I just feel like anybody that is here in August of 2023 is like, y'all are goats. Y'all are goats. Especially Jim.
Jim is the goat leader. He is like the dude herding us to the bull run. What do you mean?
I secretly think that Jim is either Yamel or Esteban or Elon.
I think he could be Elon. And Greensifer, I guess like on my end to answer your question, it's like every I guess everyone has their own personal like their own personal their own things that bring value to them when it comes to a PFP project. Like yes, I everything that Kanessa said about the beast, like yeah, it's true. I mean, I noticed from like day one that like in their Discord, there is usually always someone in voice chat, like, and they have like a live screen on and they have like Blender going. So that I thought that was like kind of cool perspective. But I mean, what brings value to me is like being a part of the same community as a lot of creatives. Like basically like I met I'm there for the musicians and stuff. I want to meet them. I want to give them the opportunity to like be highlighted within our community as well. And you never know when like if there is that one musician that like gets it and is like, yo, Decentraland's it. I want to have a hub here or whatever it may be. So yeah, that it's just to me it was like an investment into like I guess both communities, both the Decentraland and Beast community.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it was pretty cool. Like, making NFT, and I kind of spoke about it on Beyond the NFT the other night about being in Beast Chat. I think it was like Friday night, um, and I think I had like kind of like just in passing, like just briefly like said the word Decentraland, and someone in there was like, yeah, I mean, Decentraland's just not it, blah, blah, blah. Started giving me like the usual, like, there's no one there. And then I just like said, you just have to find the community. And, everything he was just mentioning, I was just like, uh, answering right back to him. And it got to the point where and then like Make was there to like back me up, so it was like Rustan. They were like answering side questions as I was answering the direct questions, and yeah, we managed to get that individual on Decentraland, and we were like sending him wearables and stuff, and it was kind of like it felt like a victory because like it was someone that had been on Decentraland before. He had like a year ago he had bought land like at the height of the bull run, or it could even be like coming down, which was still high, like man, it was still not cheap. So kind of the individual had like gone in, had a bitter taste, had gotten hurt from the Decentraland. So kind of to have him come back on, and he even typed in chat like I shit you not, he even typed in chat, I wish I didn't sell my land.
Oh, that's something I hear you. I feel that at a gut level because I started fire sailing all my land in November 2021 because how could you not? But I sold like 8 pieces that are attached to the parcel we're on now because it was like a really disorganized, actually no, 9 pieces. It was really weird shape, like and I knew I couldn't deploy using the SDK. So in the builder tool, I couldn't deploy on it. Like if I would have separated it into different parcels, I could have. But 100% that is why I kept the square that we are in right now, because I knew I could deploy from the builder tool on that. I certainly don't regret, selling at that time, but I look at the land now. Nobody's built on it. Like some people haven't even changed. It's still my scene on it. And that makes me sad to know that there's like 9 buyers that bought in November 2021 and they never came back to build on it. And I don't know, and nobody's relisted their land for sale, because if they did, I would start buying it back, because I wish I had one parcel close by so that I could spawn people in and then like have kind of like a video tutorial, like explaining whatever scene they're about to walk into, and then they could walk into the main scene. So I think I think that we don't think about that a lot, is we know a lot of the good things about Decentraland, but for a lot of people, it is not a good journey. Like I'm probably getting to the point where it's equal, but I've spent more time hating Decentraland than loving it. Like this is the worst thing of my life. This is stupid. Why did I ever do this? Because, when you just watch your investment slide, and I think anybody that was here that would watch like the price of mana, it used to be like 83 on CoinMarketCap, and just watching it slide to like 85, 87, 90, 95, 98. And when it slipped to the second page, like when you had to click to the next page to get there, that was like, I just tapped out totally of mana, Decentraland, everything. And you can't, because it's an NFT, you can't just sell it. Like if it's ETH or Bitcoin, I could just sell it for a tremendous loss, but because it's an NFT, you have to have a buyer. And so I think that there are these people out there that bought in at different times that got hurt, they got burnt by it, and hopefully they do come back and see that there's stuff going on here, because it perplexes me why there's not more people building on the land that was bought at that time. Because in total, I think I sold 9, 10, 11, 12 plots of land, and not a single one has been built on since December of 2021. And I don't know if it's a barrier, if they just got caught up in the hype, if they thought that they were going to make it happen. But I wish we could kind of tap in with those people and, I don't know, see what we could do to help them.
You should you know how we like to harass my neighbors in Muland and send them NFTs and shit with messages. We should like send them an NFT with a message like, "Hey, have you built on your land lately?"
I forgot I did that. Yes, if you don't have a phone number and an email address, I will find other ways to contact you. Yes, we may have sent NFTs saying, "I like your land. Would you like to sell it to me?"
I would like to make a sizable offer of the floor price
Yes.
for this parcel of land.
Well, if mana goes back to $5, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, girl, let's talk. I got some. I'll take your mana." Yeah, I've reached out to somebody else, a neighbor that has an email address, and they've had it there for like 4 years. I'm like, "I've been your neighbor for a while, and do you want to sell your land?" And nope, no, nothing. I wish we had a way to like kind of bake into a listing of like contact information. I mean, there's a description. If somebody wants to put it there, they can, but it would be really cool if it was like optional contact information, so that people could be like, "Oh yeah, I'll put my contact information there," just because otherwise there's these, I walk around Decentraland looking for like, in my area, like, is there any way to get a hold of these people? And most of the time there isn't. So it would be just like long term to keep a lot of these plots from getting like, I don't know, just kind of self-archived. It would be really helpful. And I wonder if a lot of it is like, again, if like, I just think a lot of these parcels are lost, like gone. Like these were wallets that like now when you mess with NFTs, we all kind of know, like we know, you're going to send it ETH NFT to ETH wallet. Well, like some of us made mistakes, and I'm afraid that it's much, much bigger on the map than we realize, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely. Crap, I had something I wanted to say, but I lost my entire train of thought.
I know, I was going to say something too, but I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole subject. Oh, go ahead.
I kind of remember now. Like I was gonna make a kind of like a comment, just saying that I wish like more people used stuff like Lens Protocol or Farcaster, like try like kind of like a decent, or at least I know that like those two things have like their own like decentralized like Twitter kind of thing, or like social media platforms and stuff like that, so that like it could be a little easier at least to like find you in a like decentralized manner, like not someone like setting up like their 18th email address to be incognito, and then like drop it into like the Decentraland you know the Decentraland contact info, and then like never check the email, and instead like go directly to a DM from on a platform that is decentralized. Um, I which kind of gets me thinking like about like, I guess like w would it ever be beneficial for Decentraland to kind of um get together or merge, or well, merge is probably the wrong word, partner, collaborate, whatever with one of these decentralized protocols. Like, yeah, I mean, Lens Protocol is pretty sick. It has like basically Lens Protocol YouTube, Lens Protocol Twitter. So, and I'm pretty impressed with Farcaster, but I don't know way too much about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Decentraland could either do it themselves and start from scratch and reinvent the wheel, or they could collab with somebody who's already done the work so that Decentraland can just focus on DCL, making that run better. But then they've got like this partnership. I could see every single project doing that in the future. I mean, that's going to be like work harder. No, work smarter, not harder. And that, yeah, like we need communication. We need better forms of communication in Decentraland, because right now it's like, okay, we have to leave Decentraland to communicate. Like after we leave the party or after we leave the Wonder Mine, like I got to find you on Twitter or I got to find you on Discord, maybe Instagram, but usually not. Like, and that just again takes you out of Web 2 or out of Web 3. It takes you away from Decentraland. But if the foundation was going to try to create that from scratch, that's a huge amount of energy. So I think collabing's like the only way to make it like realistic where you could do that.
Peace, guys. How y'all doing today?
Hey.
Good morning, good afternoon. What's up, Corey Drum? Welcome, welcome.
Everything is good. I just tapped in. As you know, I'm pushing for cross blockchain activity. I think it's really important that we start looking at the fact that blockchain communities right now are way too closed off from each other from within different blockchains. Meaning like nobody wants to jump from chain to chain. And it's ignorance and it's counterproductive to the community, to the overall community of Web3, especially when it comes to artists. Me being an artist that releases NFTs on Cardano, I'm not strictly dedicated to marketing only on Cardano, and I've been blessed to have, guys such as yourselves, cross collateralize this thing and actually say, okay, we're Ethereum based, but you guys went and bought some ADA so that you could buy my NFTs, and we're doing events on the Decentraland side. When I'm a Cardano NFT guy, and I'm actually trying to bring the Cardano people into this and making sure that everybody sees, like, listen, just because somebody's on a different blockchain doesn't mean that we're in different spaces. We're all together. This is all Web3. And each one of these different blockchains is beneficial to the creators. So we need to stop being so standoffish when it comes to the different communities and the different blockchains. It's kind of like it's for lack of a better word, it's kind of like a form of racism. You know, you got somebody on Cardano that says, I'm not messing with over there because they're Tezos. Like, who cares? You know, these are all different blockchains and different avenues and different ways for us to be able to expand our horizons. And if all we're going to do is keep on pitter-pattering around and saying, I'm not going to mess with that one because they're over there, that guy is, you know, that's perpetuating the same thing that the industry did to us before. And we're just going to keep on continuing that. So my thing is, bring everybody, not just Ethereum, not just Cardano, but bring everybody. All of these different events need to be marketed to everybody on the blockchain, and they just need to be Web3. For instance, the takeover that we're doing tomorrow night, the Banks Brand Music Night on Decentraland in the True Band Room. Shout out to True Band, you know, the rocking unicorns. I'm loving you guys. But what we're doing in there is I'm bringing. I actually promoted it into in the Six City platform. I've actually spoken to the developer, my guy Jimmy over there. Told him to bring the people at Project Noom, bring the people from NMaker, and let them know. Listen, this is not a competition between blockchains. This should all be collaborative. If we all work together to build this thing the right way and in a large scale, we will really control the universe. But until we do that, we're just going to be having these little small neighborhoods like that we're focused on. And I'm not focused on small neighborhoods. I'm focused on the globe, and we need to take the globe as a community of Web3 creatives, designers, and everything. I mean, I'm going to bring music and stuff like that. I'm looking to bring clothing lines and stuff like that to the metaverse, and not only on one chain. I want it to be cross collateralized. I want everybody to have access to this stuff. And that's what we should be more focused on right now, giving access to everybody, including the people that are on Web 2 that are afraid or they don't know how to jump into this thing. So we have to make it easier for everybody. And if we're bickering between blockchain and saying, oh, that blockchain sucks, this one is trash, and yada, 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 we're confusing the audience outside that wants to just get involved, period. They could care less. So I think that should really be our goal right now. It should really be educating everybody universally and letting them and showing them this is a cross blockchain thing. It is not about your blockchain over mine. It's all of them. We all have to be in this together in order for Web3 to really develop the way it should.
I love it, Corey, and I love that you're bringing Ada. Bring Ada. I mean, talk about a project that like opens doors with what they're doing, like developing in Africa, Ethiopia, like their devs. I'm so bullish on Cardano, and that's cool to see that you're minting on it. And yeah, I love it. Like I don't know. I want to post NFT art in the future, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, do I do it on Mind or go like I don't know what, you know, I gotta like do a bunch of research there.
Well, the reason I like Cardano the best as far as releasing the art is because with and this isn't a stab at Ethereum, but we all know those gas prices are ridiculous. So for us to actually sell product on the Ethereum blockchain, you know, we have to actually, I mean, it's just way too expensive for us to do it effectively. Whereas on Cardano, we don't pay fees like that. So if I'm telling somebody $20 for my NFT, they're going to pay $20 for my NFT. They're not going to have another $20 in gas fees in order for this to be transferred. So that's really why it makes more sense, I think, for creatives to release their NFTs via Cardano as opposed to the Ethereum aspect as far as NFTs. Because I do have Ethereum NFTs on OpenSea. And like I said, in order to sell them, the buyer has to pay so much gas that it's not really worth it to them to actually buy an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. So until Ethereum figures out how to decrease the amount of gas that it takes to do this, it's just more beneficial for the artist for us to actually do these things on chains like Ethereum. But not, like I said, not just stay there. We can release our stuff over there, but an NFT is an NFT. So, I mean, you can have different wallets and everybody can participate in all of this stuff. And okay, somebody that's happy utilizing the Ethereum blockchain for the metaverse aspects, great. You can still buy the NFTs and utilize the NFTs from Cardano. It's music. I mean, it's just like an MP3. So it's not like it's not rocket science. You know, we just need to cross these communities, intermingle the communities much more. Like I said, I'm inviting everybody to Decentraland tomorrow night at 8 o'clock into the True Band Room, and we're gonna have a cross blockchain party. You know, we're gonna post it on Twitch. People that aren't in Decentraland will be able to access it through that, or they can access it through the Discord group. You know, and then we could bring more people in and show them what's going on. Because the biggest problem that I've seen with people coming into Web3 is the worst statement that I keep on hearing from them is, I don't know what it is, or I don't really understand it. Meanwhile, those are the same people that when you go to the beach and they say, I want to learn how to swim, they're standing on the sand and they never get in the water. You're never going to learn how to swim if you do not get in the water. I wasn't taught any of this Web3 stuff. I jumped in the water and I just started releasing NFTs like the end of 2022 with my first book. And since then, I've released 18 NFTs through my company, and I'm not done. We're just going to keep on going, and I'm learning as I go. It's best to just jump into these things, you know, and that's really the way I profess it to anybody. If you really want to get involved in any of this stuff, just jump in it. You know, you'll never learn how to swim unless you jump in the water and start paddling.
I love it. You brought up so many good points, and I think you're right. I think that like there's almost stages to go through as you join like the NFT stage. There's like the confusion, and then you kind of get it, and then you come in, and then you're like a observer, but then you kind of participate. You might like buy a PFP like I did, but I'm looking at Scott's Odd Jobs like PFP. That's made by like that's Clammy's project. So then all of a sudden like you have your own project, and then you're like building your own community. So there's almost like layers to it, and I feel like everybody in this room, maybe like somebody else in here, they're going to have their own NFT project in 5 years or something like that. So it's like you just, but again, like I'm still learning, and the more that we can educate each other on that, I think that's hugely advantageous, because when you understand like the differences, I mean, there's just going to be so much when we have more people come in. There's right now, I think we can kind of keep up with the learning curve. Like if people have questions in Decentraland, we can be like, oh yeah, that's an L1 wearable. That's on the ETH blockchain. That's ETH mana. And then these are on the Polygon mana blockchain. Like we can keep up with it. But man, if we got slammed with like thousands of people coming in, we would have a hard time, disseminating that information like in a quick way. And Scott, you've got your hand up.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Actually, good afternoon. I just wanted to talk to the earlier query or thing that you and Sinful were talking about in terms of, absentee landlords in Decentraland. I know that Yamel mentioned something earlier today in the AMA. I don't know if you guys were were in that earlier, but he mentioned a proposal that he had put forth about 2 years ago about taking back land that had lain dormant, had become fallow, if you will, to borrow something from the physical realm. And he finished up by saying that is something that the DAO could accommodate. So I was reminded yesterday, the day before, Dogman was talking about ENS or Ethereum naming system. That and the domain naming system, you don't actually own a domain name, right? You rent it. Even Coca-Cola, Google. I think Google at one point forgot to renew Google.com, and an employee purchased it and then sold it back to the company for like $1. But there was something called the Handshake Protocol, which is a top-level domain system that's decentralized. I actually purchased Odd Job and a couple of other names on that. It hasn't really gone anywhere because it's an adoption of a protocol, and you have to do a lot of stuff on the server side. People with brains bigger than I have to implement it and have to do that globally. But the reason I mentioned the Handshake Naming Service, or HNS, in the Handshake Protocol is they had a mechanic in their smart contract, if you will, and you had to purchase your domain names using Bitcoin, and in order to maintain it, you only buy it once, but all you had to do was you had to develop using that name, and that could be something as simple as throwing up a website. And they had a web crawler that would go out and just automatically check to see if something had been done. So like those parcels that you sold, Canessa, I'm just thinking thinking outside the box. But if we could craft something, post it before the DAO, and just have some sort of proof of activity, and it only would need to be done, once every, I don't know, 12 months or something like that. Like if you don't go in and update a text file, then proceedings begin to revert your land back. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are going to jump all over this, but it's honestly, there are any number of instances where there are dead wallets, right? And I know that specifically, Canessa. I don't want to. We don't need to go there, but there are other people, who I had an encrypted drive, and I had it backed up to a couple of cloud services, and I had 2 Bitcoins that I had earned through a sketching service. And over the course of, I don't know, 10 years, I lost the password, and then I forgot how to access my encrypted drive. So I've got, 2 Bitcoin just hanging out there, but I'm never getting it back, right? So shit like that happens, and I think there needs to be a way. There's receivership. There's a way. There's a mechanism in the physical realm to take land that is, or resources that for all intents and purposes are no longer accessible, but you can then take them and turn them into something that's a valued resource. And all I'm advocating is that I think there is a mechanism. The other thing that I was going to just bring forth was just an idea of, we can create smart wearables and portable experiences. It's very possible to just use like an external server, have something go through all of the parcels in Decentraland, and I could just activate my portable experience, my UI, and when I walk around Decentraland, it could show me, what the wallet address is for this land, and the last time there was any interaction on the blockchain for that parcel. I could just see that when I'm in world, and then you could add another layer to that and say, leave a message for this person, and just complete that out, so it doesn't just exist on an external server that's accessible through a portable experience in Decentraland. You could post that through SendGrid, or even something like MailChimp or Gmail to I think it's called BlockScan. What is it called? BlockScan Chat. It's made by the Etherscan team, and it's a way to send messages from one wallet to another. So there's no cost. It's sent and received free and done off chain. But you can send a message from your wallet to the wallet that holds holds these vacant parcels of land in Decentraland?
That would be cool. And I think like being the first sometimes means that like if you're first into battle, you're probably going to get the most wounds, right? Like, so Decentraland being first into the metaverse crypto space, like this is kind of a byproduct of like people not knowing how to safely transfer their NFTs, wallets becoming dead, not having some way to communicate like baked into the system so that it's already there if people want it. And I think now we're seeing that. And like I mean, you know, I don't mean to be repetitive, but like for anybody that doesn't know, like I got into it in 2019 and then I completely stepped away in the summer of 2019, focused on my real life, came back in 2021. So I'm one of those people that left for 2 years and did nothing with my land. And so, you know, as a landowner, if I came back and somebody's squatting on my land, I am going to get my garden hose out and be like, what? Like, I didn't sign up for this. This is a blockchain transaction. This is an immutable NFT. I should have the control to put, you know, a giant middle finger on that if I want to, and nobody can touch it. Like, so I'm at that scope that like at that time, I had stuff really bad happen in my life and like my real life, and I needed to focus on that. And so I never worried that my NFTs were going to be, you know, built on or anything like that. I just knew they were safe. Or I hope they were safe. Actually, I'm kind of surprised they were still there when I logged back in. So you have that perspective of like, sometimes people just need to go take care of their real life. And I think that we do need to protect like the safety of it. However, having said that, I also have a piece of land now. You know, I'll openly say it. There's no shame anymore in it. The parcel of land that I won in 2019 from the creator contest, in my excitement, I sent them my Binance ETH address, and that's where they sent the land, the token. And so it's completely as of yet, until the technology maybe someday catches up, I can't access that. It's below the Decentraland sign. There's stuff built all around it, but I could. So what I'm thinking, Scott, is you're talking about like land retrieval. There could be phases to roll it out slowly rather than just, hey, I'm going to grab all this land that's not being used. It could be like, hey, we need like, please, like an all call it. If you have land that you know for a fact, like I know that land was compromised, I know I cannot get it back. Like I could show them the blockchain transaction. I could show them like the Discord message of me in 2019 being like, Toonpunk, I think I sent it to the wrong address. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, that's okay. I'm sure it's fine. And then I never figured it out until later. But you could have like voluntary, like people like me could voluntarily say, hey, this land, like I would rather see something built on it than like, I know I can't build on it. Like I'd rather just see it retrieved, even if it was donated back. Like I don't care. Like let somebody use it rather than let it just sit there empty. So I don't know. That might be a way to do it. Just roll it out slowly.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not about you know, the government, what's it called, eminent domain. And then you've got like Carl and Ellie's house in the movie Up, where it's the nail house, and they're the world is developing around them, but he's the cantankerous old guy and he's not gonna sell or move. I don't want to kick Carl and Ellie out of their house. I'm much more aligned with, you know, what you just presented, Kanessa, of, you know, there needs to be a process, and I think there can be an intelligent process. Is it going to be possible to you know, to take all of the dead wallet parcels that are in existence and convert them back into you know, productive land parcels again? No, but there's a certain whatever, it's like a zero knowledge proof, right? I mean, there's a certain number of truths that exist for a parcel that is in a dead wallet. And, you know, I'm not going to go through the weeds and enumerate all of those possibilities right now. But it's totally possible. And I think, you know, one of the little projects that we could have in Decentraland during this bear market, because when the bull is running everybody's going to be, you know, having parties and upping their prices on their wearables and emotes and stuff like that. And we're going to kind of forget about this. But I think now would be a good time to try to come to an amicable solution, you know, between the among the people that are here in Decentraland. I speak as somebody who owns not a single parcel of land. So I own a number of names, but you know, whatever, that I think that's important to be said. However, for me, it's about, you know, there's nothing that attracts a crowd like a crowd. You know, there's the Stars District, right? And those are all the places, you know, that you've got a parcel down there. PB's got one. Seed has one. There's Dollhouse. There's, I don't know, Buffalo. Um, anyway, there's, you know, I think if people knew about that, like people that had those parcels, and they could just be given options, like, okay, uh, did you know that where you have your parcel of land on Stateless Road is really hopping, and would you like to rent it out? Like, first give them the carrot, right? Don't show them the stick. And then if they don't respond to anything like that, yeah, so like you're proposing, Kanessa, I think there are any number of creative ways that we can try to figure that out. I think it's something that, uh, as you said, the first person in battle gets the most wounds. They're also the ones that have the most experience, right? And I think now Decentraland's been around long enough that we've had the experience that just letting these parcels sit, even with the scrub brush, like Toonpunk was telling us about, you know, it used to be just an empty grid, and oh my God, how empty would Decentraland look that way? I think there are any number of creative ways that we can deal with it. It would need to be done through the DAO, but I would just challenge people to try to come up with something like that and put forth a poll in the DAO, and let's see what we can come up with.
I like it, Scott, and I think I kind of there was the proposal for the DAO land, what size it should be, and I kind of went off on it because I kind of came up with a realization, like as we're talking, like why isn't it these like two little plazas? There's these two 4-piece plazas down in the south part of the Decentraland map. Like, why haven't we built on that? And so I like it is I mean it's effective in a good use of time to talk about all of this, but really like also the foundation, in my opinion, just me, not financial advice, but like the foundation needs to be pushing the envelope with like building on the land that they're the only ones that have the keys for it. Like I can't go get that land. I can't write a DAO proposal because it's not owned or has anything to do with the DAO. Like that is the foundation. And so why, you know, if we want to talk about like repurposing land, if like honestly, if Yamel's going to bring that up, let's just purpose the land that we have, because those parcels, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but once you deploy on something, that default scene goes away, and I don't think you can ever get it back. I don't think you, like, if you just remove your scene, it does not go back to the trees and the rocks. It goes back to grass, plain grass. So that, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. I want to be wrong. But that tells me, like, in 4 years, nothing has been deployed on that foundation-owned land. So either, like, you know, and this is opening a whole can of worms, like, open it up to, like, a 6-month application process where CBD has a build. We make a build. It's four parcels, you know, and we want to put it there, and we want to help the community, and we can apply to use that land. Like, there has to be more things. I think, like, Angzar is pushed the, like, they've got the use case that's proven that this is a viable thing to do, to have, you know, entities other than the foundation use this land, because it's a lot of foundation land and it takes money to build. And so yeah, I think Scott, I don't know if you got rugged or if you went he's going, but I think we need to be like building on our own land, building on foundation land, building on all the land we can, just so that when people walk around, it's not as empty, because 90,000 parcels is a lot.
Yes, yes. It brings me back to like the second Twitter space that we had when Toonpunk and Esteban came on and they started talking about that, like just being able to just build on land, and I can see it. I can see it being done in a respectable manner. Like in all honesty, like it could be like one of those things where like it gets, let's say it gets started, and then from there, each landowner has like 6 months to kind of like, I don't know, check into Decentraland, or like check into the builder and say like my land is being used, or I'm active. It could be as simple as like just signing your wallet to Decentraland, and then like Decentraland says, okay, this wallet's still active and still using its land. Let's not allow squatters on it.
Yeah, that would be a really good way to do it. And I think even you could start with a small like area. I mean, you could do it with like choose like 100 parcels by 100 parcels and be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to prove, we're going to see how it goes for like 6 months. We're going to see if any landowners just come back livid, or gosh, maybe they come back like super grateful. Like, hey, I'm so glad I have this investment. I was hoping that mana would go up. I couldn't build on it, but you guys are building on it. And because of your hard work, my investment is worth more now. Like, there's also that side that there could be people really excited to just pass over the keys. But again, without like the ability to be able to communicate with them, it's in some ways too decentralized because it's too hard to get in touch with people. Julianne, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, it's just like if I have some land, and then like if I want to like buy the parcel next to it, like if like one person maybe seems inactive, though there's some transferring stuff maybe from another one, and it's like, oh, what if they're not with us on Earth anymore? I mean, that's sad. But then the also the Decentraland, like people can't ever like buy it either. So
yeah, I want to have a contingency plan for like parcels, so that like almost like you have to push the button every 6 months, or a default scene comes in, and then I know that's so morbid, but y'all, I'm gonna put this giant donut on my land, and when I go, you're gonna just party on my donut for the rest of your days. But yeah, Julianne, I think like we do have to kind of talk about mortality in Web3. Like, it's real. And for anybody that's gone through like closing an estate in the real world, like after somebody passes, it is not as easy as it is made out to be. There's a lot of it is not fun anyway. But to do that in Web3, like hopefully we all have a contingency plan, and it's clearly laid out to your loved ones, like how to access your stuff, because I think that's a whole can of worms that until somebody thinks about, nobody wants to think about that until it's done. But having been through it, like I'm just got over the morbid part. It's all laid out. Like,
yeah, kind of tricky because like some people might want it to be there forever after they pass away as a kind of just what they want as a legacy or their thing. So it's like, I mean, I guess it's different if they had put something on it or it's empty too. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, I joke about putting a giant donut on my home forever, and like a big tombstone donut for Canessa. But to be honest, I would rather like it go into a collective than like the CBD, where you guys could all use it. Like, I don't want my land just to be another one of those dormant plots. Like it should. We should have this conversation, whether for this metaverse or sandbox or other side. Like we will have to have these conversations sooner than later, and they're a whole lot easier to have now than when you're in crisis and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and then there's like the other part that sometimes some lands, it might be kind of nice to have some places that aren't built on, it's just grass. It almost seems like it's like a little bit like a country and stuff, and then some are more rural, and there's like more city areas and a mix. So it's like, I don't know, different things.
Yeah, definitely. There's like different vibes. If you walk around the map, there's like different places, but then that vibe changes with the build, like Rustan's original build will always have I think a special place in most of our hearts, because that was like a place where most of us met. And it's so even to have like, I don't know, some kind of like nostalgic area where you could go look at the original Rustan, Casa Rustan, or I don't know what else is out there that we don't see anymore. Nothing comes to mind, but yeah, like there's so many things that we have to look at, like as far as Decentraland moving forward. So yeah, good ideas. Julianne, have you built much on your land recently?
Oh, I was working on the building for a while. I mean, right now I was focusing a little bit more on trying to launch a blog, but I have like worked on it and things, and maybe trying to. It's been a little bit tricky trying to reduce my polygon count. Like maybe take out a wall and put like a pictured thing there instead, and move things around. Like it's like I want certain things, so I've been playing with that. But I think what I need to do is figure out how to get it on the DCL worlds to experiment with it. So yeah, we'll see. Cause I want to have some fun with that. Like have some, it's like different floors and like a penthouse and a club on top. And I want one floor to be like a gallery, another one's a game room, another one is like a side hustle making money thing, and like my own little gallery. And then I guess like the club, there's that stuff too. And I want to have like a big game there. So hopefully in the future some fun stuff will happen on that land. like win prizes too.
That is awesome. I definitely hope that you can make that happen. And I think there's so many people in the CBD that can, answer questions, and they've been so helpful and ready to share their information and their knowledge so freely. So it is awesome to have that resource. So I hope if you ever it gets stuck, because I know like I played on Worlds, but that's something I want to do too. But I'm like, where do I start? I know Scott has a tutorial. So yeah, hopefully we can all kind of start building that.
We need like a beta tester too.
Yeah, totally. Because I see some of the stuff that other people are doing and putting on their land. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Yeah. So much to learn.
I love listening to Julianne just like kind of like explain her process, just like, trying to take walls down and trying to replace them with images, and doing this to reduce poly count. It sounds like a puzzle, and I have and it kind of brings me back to speaking to some of the builders in the space that are like completely like intrigued by that aspect of building on Decentraland, that it's not like something that you usually like come across. It's like a new way of like trying to fit as much as you can with these limitations, and and taking sacrifices if you have to.
Yeah, I think it is really good to learn how to build, like learn how to build in the builder first. If you're going to build something, like go through the agony, join, it's like a rite of passage. Because it's just once you know how to build in the builder and you're like, yes, I finally made a structure and it has the triangle counts and I can go in it, then you can go into Blender, and then it's like, oh, like freedom, where you're like, now I'm like playing with like the real, I'm not in the sandbox, like I'm on a beach full of sand that I can build in. And then after that, like I haven't gone to the SDK yet, so that's the next step.
When SDK for Kinessa?
I don't know, soon, because I guess like in order to deploy in Worlds, I have to learn the SDK, right? I don't think there's a way to build.
No, I think now you can like deploy from the builder into SDK into Worlds. Sorry.
Is that a really new update, like in the past few days?
I thought it was like more of an update like in the past like month or so.
Mariana is giving us sign language. First, she gave a thumbs down. Now she's thumbs up. So, Mariana, if you're in the room, give us a sign.
You can deploy. Yeah, Nico talked today about it, and you can go back and review the all hands thing that happened this morning. They gave a lot of information, and one of the things that they talked about was the web builder that's incorporating SDK7. That's like gonna be a thing. They're gonna expend a number of resources on it. They realize how important something like that is, and deploying to worlds. If it's not already, yeah, it's coming soon. So yes. Have you done SDK7 builds with the new web-based builder, Kanessa?
Nope, just that one tutorial that I think it was last winter that it was like one of the first FAFOs.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay. That was fun. No, I'll be spending more time in SDK7. And last Tuesday on FAFO with Existence, we did we fucked around with the web builder. It's already been updated. One of the things that they mentioned in the all hands this morning was the new shape up. It's just like a new way of working, and it's 3 to 6 people on a team, and they have a 3 to 6 week turnaround for things that they're going to deliver. So it's a much more rapid development cycle. So get used to hearing about exciting new things. They're going to be smaller in scope, but I think that rapid development will benefit something like the in-world, or sorry, the web-based builder. So yeah, you don't have to download Visual Studio Code. You only need a web browser, right? And no, you know what? I did deploy to World. I did last Tuesday. It's not really obvious. You have to like click on these 3 dots in the upper left-hand corner or something like that. But I'll be doing more of it in FAFOs. I won't be doing a FAFO this Friday, but they'll pick up again next Tuesday. So yeah, look for more instruction about using the new builder in SDK7 next Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you, Scott, for all that you do with like taking that information from the foundation and like splitting it apart, disseminating it in a way that like we can understand it, because there's a lot to unpack there. Yeah, like maybe we could. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure out the deploying to worlds, and then just go from there. And maybe a bunch of us, if we are all trying to do that together, like break it down to like the easiest steps to get it in. Or maybe it's not that hard. Maybe I'm just, sometimes until you get in there and actually like look at, like turn the lights on in the room and see what you got to work with, like maybe it's really easy at this point, because I understand a little, a lot more than I did last December, I think, when I first was trying to figure it out. So thank you for that, Scott. The AMA was awesome this morning, and a lot of new stuff getting rolled out, which is really cool.
On that note, I'll reset the room here a little bit. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And I do see some new faces in the crowd, so if anyone would like to come up and speak, introduce yourselves, or ask us, like, what the heck Decentraland is, you're more than welcome to. I know we're throwing out some, like, technical terms and stuff like that, so, I mean, you're always welcome to ask. And to any one of our friends that is here listening, you're more than welcome to come up to speak and bring up any topics you would like to bring up. And yeah, if not, I will pass it back to Kanessa's donut-loving beast. I love it. I love that thing because of the picture that you posted with I believe, Kanessa.
Yes, the real Vanessa. She was my chocolate lab, and she was such a sweetie. You have, in my opinion, you only get like 10 dogs in your lifetime, or maybe more. But like if you have, I don't know, you just get a couple good dogs in your life, and she was one of those dogs that was just like so sweet and so special. Obviously, the name Canessa, it was special enough to take her identity. Yeah.
So what's the foundation up to? Anything new and exciting, or making it like other side where you can have like 1,000 people somewhere at once and smooth?
Scott, do you want to take that?
I was just gonna say, I'll take that. I just took a bite of my. Yeah. So I was out working in my yard when I was listening to it, but I think it was Yamal that was mentioning it, or I mean, it was somebody from the development side on Foundation. But basically, look for a new client. I think it's at the first of the year or at some time in 2024. But as recently as 3 months ago, they've started work on a new client. They've identified performance issues, and just based on some other conversations that I've had during interviews or just casual off-the-record conversations with people from Foundation, that it's an architectural thing and issue, and it requires like a base level rewrite of some things in Decentraland, and there's code that's in Decentraland that has been the same since before the public launch, as far back as when Canessa was around first in Decentraland. I want to impress upon everybody listening here, like maybe in the not so technical side of things, and I see there's some people that are way more technical than I am, but just the exponential increase of complexity when you have people in a virtual space, and the solutions that they came upon 6-7 years ago when they first started to conceive of Decentraland, and there have been new improvements. So when comparing Decentraland to something like Otherside, which is, I know people have seen demos, but until they open up the doors, it's still vaporware as far as I'm concerned. And then when you compare it to things like Roadblocks, that was an actual comparison that was made this morning. And what a lot of these virtual spaces do to get around the issue of having multiple people in one space at one time is, they create what are called shards or islands, right? And without getting too technical, if you can isolate people to one server or even a virtual server, then you can confine the amount of messages that are going back and forth. So we're all sitting here and we're just talking to each other. But if we had three-dimensional representations of ourselves, I'm eating toast. So that means that my toast needs to be propagated to everybody else who's in this conversation. And every time I take a bite of that piece of toast, the audio file has to trigger. You have to see me do the chewing animation, and then you want that to be synchronized. So every single time I take a bite and I chew, if there's 10 people, that's one message that goes from me to those 10 people. And then if you like the smell of my toast, then you have to react to that. So that's so it, like I said, it exponentially gets very complicated. So it has to do with the messages that are sent from all 10 people in the room to the server and then out to all the other 10 people. Because Decentraland has contiguous parcels, and you can just walk from one place to the next. We did that on ABC's tour on Monday, where we went to one location and then we just walked and we looked at the interesting things along the way. Places like Spatial or Monoverse or Roadblocks, you can't do that. You can walk around in one scene, but if you want to go to the scene that's next door, you get a loading screen. You have to wait for it to load, and then you go into that. You've got cutscene animations or cinematics, as they're called sometimes. So there are cheats and fakes that that other things that are used in comparison for Decentraland. And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying, if we're going to make comparisons, you need to make an apples to apples comparison. So
Yeah.
what Decentraland does is somewhat unique from what the other places are doing. And they've recognized, some of the limitations, and they're going to address that. And there is a new client that's coming out that will improve the performance. It's a constant criticism that they've been receiving, and they've heard those criticisms, and they are working on it.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it special, is that how you could have owned something and right next to you is someone else owns something. That's kind of, I don't know, maybe part of the intrigue or something about that. Yeah.
Did I rug?
Now, do you hear me?
Okay, I hear you.
We all just got quiet.
We just all got quiet for a little moment of silence. I mean, we've been going for like about an hour 42. I mean, if there aren't any more topics that anyone would like to cover today, maybe we could start winding down. What do you think, Vanessa?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think there's probably lots of stuff people are working on today, and so yeah. And then this is usually when the good topics might come up.
Yep. I mean, definitely, it's already been a packed day here on the Decentraland. I know that before this one, we've already had like two events. The Decentraland Twitter page hosted a emotes Twitter space, and then right after that, there was the hands category. AMA in the Decentraland Discord. So I understand if our friends are very tired and, all topics are covered for the week. I did see that Unknower came up to speak. Hello, friend. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, Sin? Good to see everybody today. I saw we were doing a lot of talking about constructing scenes and deploying things and being able to, various builder tools. So since we're kind of winding down, figured I would just hop on and let everybody know that Virtual Land Manager is officially available to the public. You can go to vlm.gg. That's V as in Victor, L as in Larry, M as in Mary, .gg as in good game. And if you go there, you can create a scene, and actually just got finished publishing the new documentation site. And it's pretty comprehensive, so I feel like anyone who's got like beginner level experience with development should be able to follow along. But obviously, I'm always open to feedback. And just wanted to say that I have all of this week and next week off from my main job, and I'm trying to get as many people onboarded onto Virtual Land Manager as possible during that time. So if anybody is interested, feel free to reach out to me here on X, or you can DM me on Discord. My username over there is just Unknower. And while I'm here, I can answer any questions about it.
So, not everybody is here every week. Some people come in and out. So from if you're explaining it to somebody that's doesn't know what the Virtual Land Manager is, can you give us an explanation of like what it is, how we would use it on our scenes?
Good call. Yeah, I did mean to touch on that and forgot. So Virtual Land Manager is basically a third-party tool, receives some funding from the Decentraland DAO, and it allows you to do things like create video screens and images and move them around and update them in real time within your scene without having to redeploy things. And there's kind of a neat feature of the videos where it's kind of like this, what I've been calling a dynamic video system. So you can put in a live stream, and it'll play your live stream on a video screen. You can move that video screen obviously wherever you want and resize it. But then when your stream goes down, you can actually, or if your stream goes down or you disable it by choice, you can have it play some other sort of content while your stream is down. So like a video playlist of pre-recorded videos, it can loop through a playlist, or it can show a static image. And in the future, I'm hoping to expand that into like scheduled screenings of videos and slideshows, so you can kind of progress through different images if you wanted to create a billboard or something like that. So there's also the ability to create your own controls. So there's this feature called Custom Widget, and if anybody was at Ruston's this past weekend, you got to see that in action with his light show. So basically, a widget gives you the ability to create something like a toggle switch, or a trigger button, or like a volume slider, or like a selection menu. There's all these different options of controls that you can create, and these get connected to basically a function within your scene, so that you can determine what that control does. And what Rustan has done is basically, whenever he turns the switch on or off, it hides or shows a GLB in the scene, I guess. And that is how he built his awesome, amazing light show, which literally almost brought tears to my eyes when I saw it this weekend, because it was like the culmination of all the hard work I've been doing on this project finally coming to fruition, and getting to see getting to see what other people can do with my work. Like, yeah, it was really inspiring, just seeing, I guess, knowing that I was able to build something that helped someone else realize their like true creativity, which is, I don't know, for me that was really special, especially somebody like Rustan, who's like world-renowned artist in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's actually really awesome to hear. The that it's all up and working. The toggle feature for like light shows and stuff like that. I mean, I've been saying it for a while. Like I see a future where there'll be like light engineers for your Decentraland performance one day. And I mean, I know like to this point or before this point, like Cozy Artist was one of the few that kind of had access to like this feature to be able to like curate your own light show while as your performance is going. And I kind of like that. This power, this ability is like being spread out to more Decentraland creators through VLM. As far as your onboarding week, I think you had mentioned that you took off next week for from your IRL job, and will be like actively onboarding people. I mean, if you want to like set up an event in the CBD Discord where you'll sit in the channel, and anyone that comes gets onboarded, like you're more than welcome to. I don't know what you had in mind, but I'm just throwing the idea out there for you.
Cool, yeah, that's a good idea. I could probably do something like that. Or there's also a virtual land manager Discord, so maybe I should schedule some events where people can come and ask questions, just sort of like an open Q&A sort of get help session or something like that. But yeah, that's a good idea, Sin. I appreciate that.
No problem. Always here for you, dude. I mean, you're doing big things. You're helping Rustan realize his creative journey on Decentraland. You know that damn well is hard, especially since that man loves Hyperfi. So I mean, that's a win.
Yeah, that's a good point. And man, I don't know if I'll ever help somebody like Rustan realize his true creative potential, but the fact that I was able to get him a little bit closer to what he wants to do here, uh, yeah, I was like, wow, it's finally happening. Yeah, so it's been such a long time working on this project, and it feels good to finally have it out there, and I'm like really excited to help people use it. So if you try to install it and it just kind of looks overwhelming and you can't figure it out, feel free to reach out. I'm proud of anybody who's trying to push themselves out of their comfort zone in programming. So I'm always willing to help.
Thank you, Honor, for giving us the heads up and yeah, the update on VLM. So I guess I'll start winding down. Oh yeah. So before we pass it on to to Julianne. Any final thoughts? Anything you would like to say to everyone before we pass on?
I think I'm good. Have a good day, everyone.
Sounds good. I mean, good to see you here. Thank you for coming up and speaking. Scott, final thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to encourage people. I noticed Fractillions was mentioning about working on her own emotes, and Peanut Butter was mentioning trying to learn how to make emotes. This is a really good time to get started if you were interested in creating an emote. With the foundation's focus on emotes this month, in the next few weeks, just to promote the contest that they've got. The normal $150 submission fee. I think $120 of that will be refunded for all of the entries, at least your first entry. So there's no better time. It's basically $30 to submit an emote. I think there's like 20,000 mana in prizes. First prize has 5,000 mana, and I forget what else comes with that. So it's a real serious contest. There are all of these resources, and I'll open myself up as a resource to people. So if you're interested in creating in Decentraland, wearables and emotes are probably the most accessible entry point for people. There is that barrier of the submission fee, but that has been significantly reduced. So yeah, just want to encourage people, if you're on the fence and you're looking for a sign to jump in, this is your sign. Jump in.
$30 for emote submissions. What? Yep.
Yeah, you got to come up with 150 to submit, and then the mana gets refunded to you, is what I understand. But yeah, yep. You front the 150, and they'll give you back 120. But you have to fill out the entry submission form to be considered for the contest and to receive that reimbursement. But yeah, $30.
If you want to give your votes to anyone, can you just give it to anyone or only certain people?
So there's a public component and a foundational component to the vote. So the public will have a say in what they think is the winner, and I know that comes into consideration. And they in past competitions they've had like a public award, but I don't know that it's I don't know. Am I answering your question? Is that what you were kind of asking about as far as your vote?
I guess more like if you want to if you want to give someone else your votes to vote for you, can you just pick any person, or only like certain people can take?
Are you talking about VP, like delegating VP?
Voting power? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. No, I actually have a video where I explain how to go through the process of delegating VP using the dApps in governance.decentraland.org. I know we're winding down the space, but if you want to reach out to me either through Twitter DMs or Discord DMs, I can point you to that resource, or I can just talk to you directly about that. But yeah, it's really simple, and I can explain to you how to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Consider that.
And on what Scott said, I would highly if anybody's not sure if they should submit an emote because they're just getting started and it might not look the way they want it to. One thing PB pointed out, which I think is really cool, that they're telling you to do this, is just publish the emote the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can always come back and you can edit it and change it. And once you fine tune your craft a little bit, you can get that emote like really good, you know, but then you can come back and publish, like push the edit, and you've already, like, I don't know, like, it's just it's like, take advantage of this Black Friday special while it's here, because they're basically giving you money back, even if your tools, even if it looks like it's not where you want it to be, just publish that emote, because, you know, Scott, me, Issa, there's so many people that could try to help you and get it. I hope everybody puts an emote out, because it is actually really, really, I don't know, once you kind of figure out a couple things, it's not that hard. So publish, take advantage of this special.
Has anyone created the worm? You know, the
Yes,
someone did.
Yes, I like that one. It's pretty ridiculous to be like all dressed fancy and then do the worm emote. It's like, I don't know. I love it. I love the worm emote, but it feels really weird. You're like, it's really an aggressive. I mean, I don't know if you can do non-aggressive worm. Like, I don't think it works to kind of do it in slow motion. You got to go all out to get the worm to work. And on that note, since we're wrapping up, I do want to say, this one's a hard one. I'm sure most people know KJ Walker had some unfortunate events, and her wallet was compromised. And I think that we as a community have the opportunity to really reach in and help this person out in her time of need. For anybody that doesn't know, KJ has been here since 2019. She has created stuff like YouTube videos that I bet everybody in here that has done Blender has watched her videos. If you haven't, you've probably like bought her wearables or gone in her build. And this one hits like, I wish I could do more for KJ. I'm going to release an emo. SRJH is helping make a wearable that goes with it. I'm just going to put her wallet address as the beneficiary. I know it's not going to make a drop in the bucket to what has been lost, but please just keep your eyes out for that. If you want to support, just everything's going to go to KJ. And this is a DCL fam, and this one really hits. So anything that you can do, I know that this is a hard one, and we can't help recoup the loss, but we can show her that she is not alone in this community. So hopefully I will have those out tomorrow. We've talked about some other things, but I just want to make sure that I just want to get going on this as quickly as we can, because this is a big. Yeah. Scott and I and a couple in CBD Discord talked about like trying to turn it into like a learning opportunity. Like, I mean, scams happen to us all. Every one of us has a story of like, wallet being drained or sending parcels to the wrong account. Like, it happens to all of us. And I don't know. I guess not much else to say about that. But if we can help out one person at least, like, that's what we're here for.
Go ahead, Zesty.
Yeah, I was just going to speak on the KJ thing. Looks like your typical wallet drainer operation. I've even seen screenshots of the social engineering pitch. And moral of the story, nobody is going to offer $7,000 a month for to do X in the metaverse. Sorry, it's just not happening right now.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be snarky. I'm just, but that kind of summarizes it.
Someone like gave them an offer and then they took along with it.
So the wind up for the pitch is that I have this new platform I'm coming out with. Here's my pitch deck and an executable to download. Let's get set up, and I'll just start throwing piles of money at you for being involved in some way. And that part, the involved changes from person to person.
Zesty, I might jump in and just I think maybe when the dust settles, we can look at like the details of it. I think right now, I don't know. I think that, yeah, like maybe we should just hang on, help KJ. Later we can go through, all the details of it. Like right now, I just want to be sensitive to KJ, this experience, what this means, and then go from there. So I love what you do, Zesty. I just there's a person behind this, and they're a person.
Well, I'll switch to a more positive note and give a shout out to Endel in the listeners section. He's the creator of Calisius, and Calisius has been an amazing tool for us developers in Decentraland. So thank you for listening in on our community building space today, Endel.
Yes, thank you, and Endel, we host these spaces every Wednesday at noon. Soon, maybe even a second day. We'll see. Um, And yeah, if you ever have any time, just feel free to request a mic, come up, introduce yourselves. We don't bite, ask questions or whatever. It's a good time to kind of speak to a few of us from that the Central Land users and stuff like that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. As far as yeah, kind of hacking, please, everyone, just watch out. Like, DMs are a very good way to get got. Like even right now, like at the day after KJ, that thing happened to KJ, I have this random account called JPEGs messaging me. Hey, what up? That's how I replied. How are you? I saw that you're a metaverse consultant. An NFT consultant is required in our project. Our project is a verse palm. So verse, like from metaverse, palm as in like palm tree, PALM. So let me know if you're interested. So I said, I'm very happy to that you chose me as your metaverse consulting. My starting price is the low price of $10,000 and the initial onboarding fee of $5,000. So that's how that conversation's going because I know they're full of shit. So pretty soon I'll probably tell them that uh, they will be having many lovers in prison, something around those lines. I just don't want to disclose that the true saying on a recorded space. On that note, thank you everyone for being here. 2-hour Twitter space has been awesome. We've been chill all day. We've been just chatting and yeah, having a good time with each other. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate you. And yeah, act natural. Hey, what's up, everyone? Okay, I am back. I am now here. What up, AJ? Who's that all the way down there? Is it Chameleon?